yeah, for this chapter I'll try to be very brief because as I told you, we will be guided by research onion. So I'm going to share I'm going to copy paste the research onion right here. So with the research onion, you just need to peel it from the outside, explaining why you have chosen, where you have, just justifying your choices, because you know for each layer we have several options, we have alternatives, so you choose one. So you have to just give a justification, you have to give a reason as to why you have chosen that particular option and not the others. That's what we call critical writing. You have, for example, if it's the first, it's philosophy, we have several philosophies. Which philosophy guides your project? You have to discuss the first philosophy, the second, the third, the fourth, and then you have to say about among all these choices, these alternatives, the project is guided by this. Why is it guided by that and not the others? You have to give that justification. So for methodology, of course, just like for any other chapter, you start with 3.1, which is introduction. And the introduction, you just give the overview of the chapter overview actually, like what the chapter is going to cover, it's divided into how many sections, and what each section is going to cover. You can just say that your chapter is guided by the research onion, and it will be discussed based on the layers of the research onion, as simple as that. So after you've identified that the research onion will guide your study, your chapter, right now, you copy paste. You're going to copy paste it there. Wait a minute, I want to. Wait a minute. I want to copy paste the research onion. Let me copy paste the research onion. It's very simple. If you get it by the research onion, it will be very simple for you. So you have research onion by Saunders. I've not seen the updated one. Let's use the one that was published in 2000. Go for images, because we need them, just the image. And then let me choose one of them. They're the same, but I just want to go for the one that's a little bit detailed. Saunders 2007. You can choose this one. Let's go with this. Copy image and then paste it right here. So the introduction section, just so that the chapter will be guided by the research onion. Saunders 2007. You have to insert a caption. This is how we insert a caption. Right click to give you these options. Then insert a caption. Then it's figure 1. Research onion by Saunders. Research onion by Saunders 2007. Very simple. Sasa ukimaliza hapo sasa unaenda kwa we go now to 3.2 now. The first layer of the search onion. Nataka ni kwa kubwa kidogo. Sijui kama mnaiona. So nilikuwa nimesema you start with the outermost layer, you peel it hadi ufike ile ya ndani kabisa. So layer ya kwanza ni research philosophy. So 3.2 itakuwa research philosophy, 3.3 itakuwa research approach, 3.4 itakuwa research strategy, 3.5 itakuwa choices, 3.6 itakuwa time frame, then we will have techniques and procedures. Then ukiangalia research philosophy, we have several. We have interpretivism, we have positivism, and we have pragmatism. So uta discuss interpretivism ni nini, positivism ni gani, pragmatism ni gani. Then pale chini useme your research, the research project is guided by pragmatism ama ile yako, ama interpretivism ama positivism, and you have to give a reason for that. Why is it guided by that? Kutoka hapo uende research approach. Kuna inductive na deductive. So kama ni qualitative utatumia inductive, kama ni quantitative utatumia deductive. Kwanza lazima explain inductive ni gani, deductive ni gani. You can try to critically analyze them. Useme hii ni nzuri kwa hii na hii na ubaya wake ni huyu. Uende hiyo ingine, hii ni nzuri kwa hii ni na iko na huyu ubaya. Then pale chini useme it will be guided by this. To be guided by this, lazima upe sababu as to why it is guided by that. You have to give a justification for every choice that you make. Then from there tunaenda kwa research strategy. Kwa research strategy inaweza kuwa experimental, action research, case study, systematic review. Hizo zote sasa hapo ndo una choose one. There are very many, so you discuss zile common, discuss critically analyze. Like for example unasema unaonyesha the both sides of each strategy. So ukionyesha both side of each strategy, pale mwisho sasa useme hii research inatumia hii research strategy. Kwa nini inatumia hiyo research strategy? You have to give a justification. From there tunaenda kwa time horizon. Time horizon can either be longitudinal or cross sectional. Longitudinal ni ile una collect data. For example, unataka una follow up about kitu fulani, whether it changes with this and this. No, collect over a long period of time. Hiyo ndio longitudinal. Lakini kama una collect instantly for that particular time, una analyze your data, hiyo ndio cross sectional. So you have to explain cross section ni gani, longitudinal ni gani, and you have to give a justification. You have to give your choice. Then you may choose, are you going with the cross sectional data or you are going with the longitudinal, and why are you making that particular choice? You have to give a justification as well. From there unaenda kwa techniques and procedures. Kwa techniques and procedures sasa ndio utaenda kwa ile sasa zile vitu nimeeleza kwa ile nyingine. Hapo ndio uta explain about data collection, who are your respondents, how did you approach them. That's what you explain here. So nataka ninguzie mostly about the techniques and procedures, which is 3.2, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, which is now 3.7. 3.7. Why have you chosen to collect primary data? Why have you chosen to go for qualitative data? How will you approach them? That's what you are supposed to explain right here. So you start from data collection. From there you go to analysis techniques, how you are going to analyze your data, and then you go to sampling strategies. So this is how you're supposed to structure your 3.7. Even though ionekane. So 3.7 ndio itakuwa procedures and techniques. So kitu ya kwanza hapo utaenda kwa 3.71, which is data collection. So hapa ndo utasema ni type gani ya data umetumia. So for example here utaanza na umetumia primary ama ni secondary data. So the study is based on primary data collected from the employees of Coca-Cola company. Right? So you identify whether it is primary or secondary, whether primary or secondary. If primary, identify the target population. Who are you targeting? Where is the data collected? Like collected from, like you have to identify the target. Who are you targeting? Who are your audience? So you have to identify, like for example, assume now we are collecting data from, we are investigating something from let's say like Coca-Cola company, and we have now to interview the employees, which is now primary data. So you have to say that the data is primary. It is collected directly from the employees of Coca-Cola company. How did you approach them? If it is primary now, how did you approach them? How did you approach them? How did you approach them? You know, for some projects, like for example, if it's primary data and you are collecting the data directly from the employees, you have to get permission from the organization's administration. For example, you have to get to the employees through the we have several documents that you have, several forms that you have to fill. For example, kama ni employees who are Coca-Cola, huwezi ingia tu kwa hiyo organization uende uulize maswali. There is a protocol, lazima upitie kwa gate. So kuna form ya kwanza utajaza inaitwa gatekeeper. So ilikupea hiyo permission ya kuingia ndani. Ukimalizana na hiyo ya gatekeeper, sasa imekutuma kwa administration. Tuseme manager wa employees, human resource manager, mwenye sasa ulitumwa. Sasa utasema after now getting clearance from the gate, ukaenda kwa the human resource manager, ukamweleza about the purpose of your study, why are you doing it, how is it going to benefit the organization, vitu kama hizo. So after getting permission, unaenda kwa human resource manager, you explain to them exactly what you are doing, and then from there ukipata permission ndio sasa una arrange na managers kwenye utakuja kuinterview au employees. Ukitoa hiyo permission sasa by the manager, so lazima explain hivyo. Sasa after umepewa permission, hiyo siku ulikuja sasa uko na employees wote hapo, how did you sample them? I think we will cover it down there. So hapo kwa approach lazima useme ulikuwa na gatekeepers, get permission from the gate person. So you must have what we call gatekeepers. Don't know whether we have a specific name for that form. So there is that. Lazima ukuwe na gatekeepers form. Then utaenda ni mingi, kuna format mingi you download tu hapa yenye itaku give access to the organization. Ni mingi, there are many formats, but for some institutions ziko na specific yenye unapewa ujaze organization na reason ya kufanya research. So kwa kupea direction yenye utaingia huko ndani. Sasa ukitoka hapo unaenda kwa human resource manager. Huyo maybe tunaweza, for example, tunaweza muemail kitambo before the study ianze. Tunaweza mtumia email tumuulize whether we can get permission. Kwa sasa akitukubali, sasa tutengeneze hiyo gatekeepers, tuende tukaingie, tuongee na yeye. So how did you approach them? You have to explain that if it is primary data. Right? So after that, umepewa permission kuingia ndani. Tuko kwa data collection sasa. Kama ni primary data, did you use interview? Ama you used questionnaire? Kama ni qualitative study, use interview. Kama ni quantitative, use questionnaire. Sasa hapa lazima explain ulitumia interview. So ulikaa chini na selected employees, ukauliza maswali, ukarecord. Sawa? Ama uliuliza maswali ukasummarize on a piece of paper. Kama ni questionnaire, uliwapea nini questions, wakatiki wao wenyewe, ama ulikuwa unawasomea question by question, asking them about their choices and ticking it for them. Hapo ndo unaongea about interview. Hapo ndo unaongea about the method that you used to collect the data and also the method that you used to record. Kama ni questionnaire, so of course you keep the questions, your copy of each respondent. Kama interview, if you recorded them, same you kept the now the data that you've obtained there, when you keep kama transcriptions, zile recordings, ama kama summarized notes on a piece of paper. Kama ni secondary data, hapa juu nasema, hapa juu sasa, hapa we talk about the study is based on secondary data, right? The data is searched from unapeana zile databases, for example, searched from Google Scholar and ProQuest. Kama ni business, kama ni kitu ya public health, unasema it's searched from Medline, searched from PubMed, hizo. So if it's business, una go for Google Scholar and Google Scholar ProQuest. That's why you searched. After we search from those after we search from those databases, so you want to unasema the study is based on secondary data. The sources were searched from from ProQuest and Google Scholar. Ulisearch nini? Search strategy. Nini ulisearch? For example, assume we are doing a research on we are trying to investigate whether employee satisfaction affects employee satisfaction affects the productivity of an organization. Employee, so we have two terms there. We have employee satisfaction ama job satisfaction, na tuko na organizational productivity ama organizational output ama organizational performance. So hapo nita search employee, so job satisfaction, or kitu kingine inaweza kuwa replace job satisfaction, employee satisfaction, and ile ingine na search ni organizational performance or organizational output or organizational productivity. Then una click search. Ukiklik search, kama ni kwa nini sasa, lazima uexplain terms gani ulisearch, ni terms gani sasa ulisearch pale. You have to use ile inaitwa boolean topic. After we have completed now these chapters, nitaenda kwa hiyo inaitwa search strategy, ni wafunze venye mtu anatumia hizo inaitwa boolean logics or na and venye unafaa uzitumie so that you get as many sources as possible, na pia upate zile zinaitwa relevant sources. So ukisha search hizo, in my case niko na two things. I'm searching job satisfaction and organizational productivity. So kwa job satisfaction kuna vitu zingine zenye article inaweza kuwa inaongelea kuhusu which are same. Inaweza ongelea about job satisfaction, employee satisfaction. So una bring zile terms zenye ziko, so unaweka or. Hizi nyingine ya job ya organizational output inaweza kuwa or organizational performance or organizational productivity. Then ukiziweka una click, una search sasa, unaenda. So unapata sources. Unaweza pata like a million sources. So sawa, hapa kuna sources that were published before 2010 which we cannot use here. So pale juu unaweka you used the ones that were inaitwa exclusion criteria. So umepata sources nyingi lakini unataka chache zenye zitakusaidia kupata relevant information na zenye zitakusaidia to achieve the objectives of your studies. Now you exclude them. I think for most of the guys when you wamefanya systematic review, because you have touched on the site strategy. Sasa unafanya ile inaitwa exclusion. Which criteria did you use to exclude them? Kitu ya kwanza, kuna sources hazijatumia Kiingereza, so you excluded those that did not use English. You also excluded those that were published before 2015 because they are validated information. You also excluded irrelevant. Unajua kuna sources na hizo terms but they are not talking about what exactly we are investigating, so you also excluded them. Ukuja ubaki na sources kama 11 because you have unazipitia tu kwa title ukizikombea, ukuja ubaki na like 11 sources. Now with these 11 sources, now you have 11 sources. Now hizo ndio utasoma vizuri, ndio get data from them. So hapa kwa data collection, if it's secondary data that you used, kitu ya kwanza unasema hapa the study is based on secondary data. The data was searched from Google Scholar, from two databases, Google Scholar and ProQuest. The following terms were searched. So hapo utapeana number 1, job satisfaction or employee satisfaction. Number 2, kuna organizational output or organizational performance, or so that's what you searched. The sources were excluded based on the year of publication, whereby those that were published before 2015 were excluded from the study. Those that did not use English language were excluded from the study. Those that did not have full text available, you know, kuna zile unaweza pata lakini upate ni ya kununua. So those that ungepata full text freely were also excluded. And then the ones that remained ukasoma keenly kuona kama ni they are relevant. You only selected that those which were relevant in the study, those that could help you answer the research questions. Those are the sources now that you selected. Hiyo ndio unaeleza pale kwa data collection. Sasa uko na data yako sasa. Your data, if it is qualitative secondary data, are those sources. Kama ulikuwa unatumia primary data, primary no record, hiyo ni sources zako. Sources zako sasa ni hizo recordings ama ile piece of paper yenye umesummarize. Kama ni online, so utasema for example so utasema kama ni online, which is primary data. Of course, kama ni online ni primary data. So utasema you use primary data which was collected online through survey manual, for example. Then unaeleza was collected from who? The target population was collected from the employees of a company. How did you approach them? Lazima uadvertise mahali, for example. Lazima hiyo uhitaji kuingia kwa organization. You just need upate mmoja, like upate one of the employees of the company, na utumie ule kupata wengine. Hiyo inaitwa snowballing. You use one to get others. So if in this case you have used snowballing, lazima ukuwe na kitu ya kuadvertise. Kuna form nyingine utajaza pale ya online survey. Then for example online advertisement, then for example uliandika niko na research inafanya hivi na hivi na itasaidia nyinyi hivi na hivi. Sasa atashare na classmate na workmates wake. Sasa wenye watakubali akupe namba zao ama email yao. Watumie nini? Watumie ile link yako sasa collect data. So that's what you need to explain, like from you kuna best when anafanya kazi hapo who was willing to take part in the study, and you used him to get now the other respondents. Now after umepata our respondents ukawatumia link kama ni survey mind, ukawatumia link na hiyo link sasa wametumia kuanza the research questions. Make sure ume specify ile time uliwapea, time yenye the survey itatake. So utawaambia like the survey will take 20 minutes. You have to explain how you approached them, how now you collected the data now hadi ukaipata. So that's what you explain at a data collection. From there unaenda kwa 3.2, naenda kwa 3.72 sorry, which is now sampling techniques. Hata hapo juu kwa 3.71 where we are talking about data collection. Lazima for example useme the study there are two, lazima upeane the options. Like for example data collection utasema there are two methods, there are two types of data that could be collected, primary and secondary data. Unaeleza primary ni nini, secondary ni nini, but you used primary because ulikuwa unataka kupata first hand and valid information. Kama ulitumia secondary and because you wanted to get detailed huko na time, you have to explain why you used primary, why you used secondary. Then hapo chini unaenda kwa is it qualitative or quantitative. Unaweza qualitative data ni hii, quantitative data ni hii, but you went for qualitative data. Why did you go for that? Hapo chini how did you approach them? You know kuna zenye unapata option, you could have gone with this option. You have alternatives. You have to explain about those alternatives that you could have used. But hapo chini useme but we used this because of this and this. So hapo lazima ueleze primary needs on data nini, but we chose primary data. Lazima hapo chini ueleze kama how did you, for example, or kama ni secondary data, hapo chini unaeleza about where you searched. You search from ProQuest na Google Scholar, for example. Why did you choose those ones? We could have we have other databases, but why did you go for those ones? From there, usianze kusema ati you did not have access to the school library. Of course you have access to the school library, but you used these ones because ziko na sources mingi. Of course lazima sasa ufanye research, upeane justification as to why you have gone for this database and not the others. Kama ni primary, utakuja explain about interview questionnaire, and then ueleza why did you go for interview, because you needed detailed explanation of something. Why did you go for questionnaire? Kama hapo chini umesema it was done online, why did you do it online and not physical? Why did you go to the, that's not what we call the critical analysis. You have to be critical in your analysis. Don't just write. You have to be critical. So that is now I'm trying to bring to now the issue of critical writing. Don't just write it. The study is based on primary data, and the primary data was collected direct from the employees of this company. The first step was to get access from the gate, and then we went to the human resource manager who gave us a list of the employees. Then we did systematic sampling. You cannot do that. You have to jipange vizuri, ujue hapa naongelea about primary and secondary data. Unaweza explain and then you say we chose these ones. Talking about qualitative and quantitative data, we went for this one. Talking about whether it was physical or online, where did you go for this one? That's what I expect under 3.71. Under 3.72 now we have sampling techniques. Of course we have many sampling techniques that you can use. We have probabilistic sampling where we have random. Random ni ile utaingia kwa hapo kwa hiyo organization uchukue employees randomly, ama utaenda upewe list of all the employees kama ni primary data, na utumie ile inaitwa systematic sampling, whereby for example uta choose number between 1 and, for example if they are 30 employees and you need only 10, you need 10, so itamaanisha for every 3 una choose mmoja. So unaweza angalia list ya employees upewe yote 30 employees ni hao, then from number 1 to 3 una choose 1, from number 4 to 6 una choose mmoja, hivyo randomly hadi ukuje upate you are 10 employees. So there are many ways of random sampling, but the best ni ile unapewa the list of the employees, we call it sampling frame, then you randomly selected the employees from the list of the employees. Ama ile unaingia the workplace, then una interview them randomly, unaenda kwa huyu, unaenda kwa mwingine, unaenda kwa mwingine, unaenda kwa mwingine. With the online survey, online ile unatumanga online, kutumia random ni ngumu. So we use snowballing, which is not probabilistic, it is non-probabilistic. Na sasa ubawa hiyo inakuanga na, unajua kama hujawachukua randomly inamaanisha the accuracy itakuwa down, the validity of the results will be affected, but sometimes unapatanga hatuwezi avoid. So hapa kwa sampling techniques utaeleza sampling techniques zinaweza tumika zote. You go for probabilistic, example uonyeshe random, non-probabilistic example snowballing. So kama ni ulichukua random, useme you used probabilistic sampling, which is random sampling in this case, because we wanted to get valid accurate results. Kama will go for snowballing, it was impossible, it was difficult to choose employees randomly, and that's why you went for online. Inaitwa convenience sampling. Then for example, una interview tu wenye unapata, because you can't get all of them for convenience purpose. So sampling techniques hapa sasa ndio utaeleza ni sampling lazima kwanza ueleze the possible techniques that can be used to sample your population, but useme you chose this one. Why did you choose this one? Okay, how did you do it? For example, kama umesema it was random sampling, you know, you will explain that after umeenda kwa human resource manager, ulipewa list of employees, then you can select systematically. You selected 10 employees from then systematically, then ukaitiwa wao na manager, ukawa interview ama ukawapea hizo questionnaire, ama ulienda hapo kwa workplace wakakupea access, ukaenda kwa workplace, then ukawa select to randomly 10 of the employees that now you interviewed or you gave now the questionnaire. Then from 3.72 nenda 3.8 penye watu waangaliangi sana, sorry, kuna kitu hatujaangalia hapa. 3.7.3 ile inaitwa data analysis. Unajua data analysis, kama ulikuwa na qualitative data, qualitative ni ile sasa niliwaambia unatumia thematic analysis. Sasa hapo ndio utasema there are different methods that can be used to analyze qualitative data. Kuna coding, kuna thematic, they are many. Naeleza kila moja na ubaya wake, but you went with thematic analysis. Why did you choose thematic analysis? You have to explain that. Don't use first persona. You have to talk about the researcher did this, this is what was selected, but don't use first persona in your writing. Don't say that I selected this, I did this. No, don't use first persona. So from data analysis now, after umesema kama ni quantitative, sasa utasema for example ulitumia regression analysis, ama ulitumia t-test, ama ulitumia chi-square test. Hapo lazima utumie the study, useme hiyo data after imekuwa collected iliwekwa kwa SPSS ama imekuwa kwa Excel, then ukatumia hizi tools gani ulitumia, kwa nini ulizitumia, why did you use SPSS, why did you use Excel. You have to explain that. Then from there you go to the last, not the last, but very important section that some people forget. You need ethical considerations. Sasa under ethical considerations, sasa kama ni primary data, you have to be very detailed in this section. You have to be very detailed. Lazima ueleze, for example, kitu ya kwanza ulitumia your respondents kitu inaitwa consent form, wakaijaza before uulize maswali. Na ndio wajue about the research, walitumia kitu inaitwa participant information sheet, kueleza kwa nini wao walikuwa chosen. Na study ni ya kuhusu dini, hiyo inaitwa participant information sheet, na lazima upeane huko kwa appendix. Kitu ya pili, lazima watumie consent form yenye inawaambia data yako ikiwa collected, kitu ya kwanza you will be able to withdraw from the study ukitaka. Number 2, your data itapewa mtu mwingine, ni mimi tu nitaitumia, na nikisha collect, nikishamaliza kutumia, nitaidestroy, I will delete it from where I have saved it. So kitu ya kwanza ni privacy, confidentiality. Unaambianga you use what you call anonymity. You will anonymize the data, whereby hakuna jina yao itatokezea mahali, na hakuna kitu itakuwa inaweza tumika in your data that inaweza saidia mtu kujua ni nani alikupea hizi maswali. So anonymity ndio inatumia kwa privacy. Make sure that unawaambia the data itakuwa confidential, upate ukisha collect ni wewe tu utaitumia, and if utakuwa required kuipea mtu mwingine, utauliza our respondents, ama you are not intending to give it to any third party, ni wewe tu utaitumia, and then you not expose it or reveal it to any third party. That's what you explain under ethical consideration. Kama ni secondary data, you just need to you will be less detailed, because hapo hakuna ethical considerations mingi, lakini lazima we explain hapo useme the strategies that you took to ensure that the ethical risks were minimized. So from there unaenda 3.9 unapeana ile inaitwa on that chapter. So conclude, you just generalize what you have written for your chapter. So that's it.